It's early May, and we're headed out for an interesting day on the water with our friend Gord. The ice went out just a short while ago here in northwestern Ontario, and the water is still pretty cold. We're taking Gord into a lake he's never seen before to see how he will use his expertise to locate smallmouth on unknown water. This is going to be a backwoods, quad-in trip to a small lake with no maps and no waypoints.
You know, this is what I love most of all. I love seeing new water. And as gorgeous as today is, it's hard to believe we had 23 centimeters of snow a week ago. So talk about a drastic change in conditions. It's amazing. Today, I suspect what you do is you're going to have to cover a lot of water to find a fish, and then when you find one, he gives away a bunch.
Okay.
So it's not like they've yet spread out. They're all still pretty tightly grouped together.
But to throw you in a new situation like this and to take your knowledge and just you have to figure this out today, and we're going to just sit back and try to capture some of it. I'm really pumped up just to see how this goes.
Well, I hope I catch
No
fish.
pressure, Gord,
I
no
may
pressure.
not get a fish. I know what they're likely doing, but it'll be a challenge. Springtime, especially right immediately after ice out, is not as easy as everyone suspects it is. Because I think everybody thinks, wow, it gets nice and warm, and we do this. We come out and you know, we go, wow, great, it's almost summer. But to the fish, it's still 39, 40 degree water. They've been in a state of torpor for 4 months, 5 months, hibernating. So they're like spring bears coming out of the den. And that's exactly how they function, like a spring bear coming out of the den.
Very cool. Let's get at her. Gord, so you've seen a bit of the lake. Could you walk us through our thought process?
You know, Bruce, in early spring, immediately after ice out like this with cold water, they don't rush to shore, but in a small lake like this, it heats up faster. So we all come with preconceived ideas. Let the fish tell us what they want. So you've got a swim bait tied on, I got a swim jig tied on. I can fish that high, you can fish yours low. Got some an X-wrap tied on. The key with the jerk baits this time of year, the longer you pause, the more you catch. So you rip to attract and then you let it sit there. And you'll pull a fish up from 20 feet, they'll sit there like that. But what we're going to have to do is we'll hit some deep stuff, we'll hit some shallow stuff. Usually you're looking for rocks right now. Usually you're looking for structure. If we'd have started fishing where we launched the boat, as most people do, it's probably 3 hours before you get here because you have to work your way all the way through. And in fact, you might, you know, it's your day's half over before you find the spot. Unquestionably, I've never made a cast in this lake. This is where bass are. Now, they may not be here right this minute, but this is so classic. Here's the lead-in rocks out here. You know they've wintered in the main lake. At some point in the next 10 days or so, they'll start pulling up on there, and you find a sand beach like this that's protected from the west. Prevailing winds are coming in from the west, so you know everything. We've seen probably a half the lake right now. This is unquestionably the high percentage area, and what you're always looking for is the high percentage area. Look here, and this is complex. We got reefs in front of us, rocks in front of us. We've got sand, we've got rock, we've got boulders, we've got fallen trees. So all of a sudden we found the first little complex, and to me this is smallmouth heaven.
So when you say then that this is where the bass are, they just might not be here quite right now, where are they moving from to get into here?
Bass, you know, it's kind of cool. Bass are like bears. Literally, they hibernate in the winter. And so just like bears are coming out of the den right now, smallmouth are coming out of the den. A smallmouth's den is about 40 feet deep. They like to go off the edge of structure, points, bars, reefs, and they'll slide off and they come right down to where those structures meet the lake basin. And so they winter there. And then as the sun warms and they know they're going to spawn shortly, the ice leaves the lake, now they make the opposite move. And so they start pulling up towards shallow, but it's not a great rush. So they'll be somewhere between here and where they winter, which we really don't know. But there is going to be some point in time they will be here. This is smallmouth heaven. See how tight they were to the island though, eh? Mm-hmm. And you wonder, why would they, you can almost put a little circle around the area that they're holding in.
Yeah.
And they pull up, they come up as a group, they act as a group, they hunt as packs. But they'll start spreading out, but it's interesting today.
Would you say that's true about the bigger bass also?
The bigger bass are, yeah, they're usually the first ones up. That's what's interesting. They're the first ones to spawn. They'll come in 2 weeks ahead of everybody else. Only 1/3 of the males, that was predetermined a year ago, who will spawn. So cool just seeing how they act. It's the reason I actually like smallmouth. You look at them, and when you land one, they look you in the eye, and it's almost like they're individual fish, individual animals. And I don't mean that walleye don't, but you know, we catch so many walleye. Often they don't seem to behave individually like smallmouth do. They're just a very neat critter. Every fish tells you a story. So, you know, the first fish will start to clue us in, the second fish for sure. Because, and what you want to do right now in particular, but anytime, were you retrieving it quickly? Were you retrieving it slow? Was I high? Was I low? Was I deep? Did the fish really club it, or did it just kind of peck at it? Every fish tells you a story. And so the second one, if it does the very same thing, then we start looking, you know, are there any more bays like this? Are there any more points? Are there any more rock piles out off the edge? Or maybe we catch it inside. But every fish is trying to tell you a story. All you got to do is listen to it.
As Gord predicted, we marked fish deep and shallow. In our few hours on the water, targeting the first bass to move up shallow paid off. Near boulder edges, we caught them on X-Wraps, Clacken Wraps, 360 search baits, and other plastics. And once we found one, another was never far behind.